This call is now being
Esta es
recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Jojo.
un preso recluido de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Hello,
Yeah, hello. What's
Jojo.
up, James? How's everything going?
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm doing pretty
It's
good.
Jojo.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing fine. Just, happy to be on again. Happy to be tuning in on your podcast.
Hey, I
Appreciate you, Yeah.
I appreciate you calling back and sharing your journey through your childhood and through the Los Angeles County Jail, and then eventually on to the California Department of Corrections. But before you start, I want to go ahead and give a shout out to a lot of our listeners that participate in the chat, and the collect call from roll call is going to be El Iceman, Fish Slayer SoCal, Lifestyles Chronicles, Richard de Colorado, Mad Max 408, and M Star Media, Marlene, LBC K15, Righteous Monkey, Biddy K, Droopy Huevos, Amy, Manny C, LA Analyst, Aquatic Amigo, Angel de 805, Oxnard, Jerry Eastwood, Tony Yayo, 2Valid123, 1967 Kid _ PR Flag, Diggler _ Bolden, Bruce Willis, Last Chance Homie, August M, Frank from the 805, Patrick Patterson, or also known as Ramon, Lex Luth, Randy R, Wendy Martinez, Leticia V, Felipe Navarro from El Paso, loads of Botox, Daniel Garcia, and Gyro Lamb, and not to be forgotten, Vince Moreno out of San Diego. All right. It was,
man. That's, that's a lot of people. Yeah, well, I send my respects to everybody, and thank you guys for tuning in and being there to hear my story. Shout out to you guys, and and also to want to shout out to my family.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
And to my attorney, Lisa Ann Darden. She's a great attorney. She's very helpful, and I appreciate her tuning in and hearing everybody's story and supporting us in this in this fight for making change and reform to better the system for everybody, so we can all get out and be productive members of society. Well, yeah.
all right. And we just had somebody hit us in the chat right now, and they write it's a LA Analyst, and she puts, I made it on time today. Hello, James, and hello, Joe.
Oh yeah, thank you, LA Analyst. Appreciate it. Hi, I send hi back.
That's right. And so
Yeah, man, that's cool. Yeah.
I'm telling you, the interaction is really great. Hopefully, we're able to get a phone call or two today, so you could go ahead and interact with one of our supporters or viewers. And yesterday, we were on for about an hour or so, and you were sharing, your childhood, and eventually, you were sharing your sentence, which ended up being a 40-year sentence in the California Department of Corrections, and you left off in the Los Angeles County Jail, which is, man, it's definitely I would say a place that you see a lot of things happening that'll definitely leaving you scratching your head, to say the least.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. No, that's true though. LA County is ain't no joke over there. That's, man, from both ends, from the way the institution's designed, the way the sheriffs treat people, to the way the whole process, the whole being going to court and back, and it's very stressful, and especially just if you're a gang member, it's even more stressful. You got to deal with the gang stuff, But yeah.
And before you start right now, we just had Maddie come in, and she writes, tell him Maribel said hey. So it looks like you have one of your somebody you actually know that's tuning in, and
Oh yeah, that's my friend right there, Mirabel. Yeah, hi Mirabel.
there it is. I'm sure that definitely means a lot to having somebody that come in and support. That's huge. That's definitely a huge to see them in here.
Yes, no, for sure. Yeah, it's very meaningful for for them tapping in and supporting me, and even like everybody else too. I appreciate them. Like it means a lot. It really does.
And right now you're mentioning uh, some of the things that you might go through in the LA County Jail. Do you remember the first time that you went there, like the processing? Because the processing there takes forever, and then you have to take a shower, and sometimes the drain doesn't even work.
Oh
You
yeah.
you have dirty water with
That shit's horrible. Yeah, that shit's crazy.
straight asco, like man, and then you don't have any shower shoes. Oh man, it's the worst.
Oh yeah.
And then
Yeah, and we're all crowded. No, for sure, for real. Yeah, we're all crowded. Like they got us packed in there like sardines, and it's just we're all everybody trying to shower, and man, it's disgusting. It's unsanitary. I remember that. I remember the process, and then you go in, and then they pack you into a holding tank, and then you gotta wait till they open that holding tank to go to another one, and yeah, it's crazy that whole little process.
hey, and do you remember the nuts to butts?
Oh yeah, nuts. Oh yeah, nuts. Yeah, man, that's crazy. Huh? We had to really go through that, huh? And then squat and cough, and yeah, man, in front of everybody, and yeah, that's just humiliating. But it's like no man wants to be doing that in front of another man, and then in front of the sheriffs, and them looking at you, looking at your ass and all that shit. Like, yeah, that shit ain't cool.
And for
I don't.
somebody,
Yeah.
for nobody that's ever been through the through the LA County jail system, or any system at all, pretty much what nuts to butts
Yeah.
means is they have a bench, and so instead of sitting, normally on a bench you would sit, you would sit on one side of the bench, and then your feet would be forward. In this case, you would be straddling the bench, and then it's either somebody would be on back of you with their nuts on your butt, or if you were in the middle of the sandwich, you would have somebody in front of you with your nuts and their
Yeah,
butt.
yeah.
uh,
That's,
it,
well, that's sad that we had to go through that. But yeah, like nobody don't get arrested, man. Don't go through that process. This is clear evidence stating like don't commit no crime. Like stay away from committing crime
and you know
unless
what?
you want to be nuts to butts. Yeah, unless you want to be nuts to butts with somebody.
And you know how you were
Yeah.
mentioning right now that they move you from one cell to another, to get through the process. If you remember, a lot of these times, you're undressed, and there's people that haven't showered in days, weeks, maybe even months. So, man, just the
Yeah.
stench, the smell, like stuff that you should never be smelling. You're smelling it in one small area. There is no airflow, and once they pack you in here
Yeah.
like a sardine, there is no air. They shut the door,
Hell
and man,
nah,
oh,
bro.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
it's something ugly.
Yeah, we're all breathing in that polluted air, yeah, from this man, the toxic and all that shit. Yeah, it's bad. It's really bad.
So I'll go ahead and if you want to take over, and then I'll go ahead and ask you some questions, here and there, through the conversation. Uh, um, but hey, what do you think? What do you think is the most humiliating part about the whole process of getting processed into the LA County jail?
All right, yeah, the processing that's just dehumanizing, but also too, I think the way the sheriffs like the way they reacted with us, instead of like treating us better, like knowing that people are coming in with a gang of like people are having addiction problems, mental disorders, or all kinds of, just people ain't in the right state of mind. So, and people, they probably are suffering from like low self-esteem, or they don't, value themselves, and so they just, by them treating, people wrong, it just like makes it worse, and that's because as we grow up, we already condition ourselves to dislike authority figures, growing up. We have a belief, oh, it's us against them. So once we do end up going to jail, the county, and they treat us bad, it just kind of reinforces that word belief that we have about them, instead of them trying to change that belief, like disprove it, by treating us better. Like, what? Okay, the sheriffs are being nice. They're not being a dick or treating us, but no, they reinforce that belief. So that made us even worse, and made us think they're the enemies, and it continued, throughout like the county, prison, and we always thought like, okay, if they're the enemies, they're this and that, because the way they reacted towards us. And but I think that's at the time, it was a whole different a whole different like approach that they had, and they thought that was the best way to respond to us. And I think that was like the most like dehumanizing approach, by them treating everybody like that, by yelling at them, disrespecting them, trying to like punish them, in the hallways and stuff. That's why like people would take off on them, or like get revenge, because of stuff like that. They would provoke it, and I think them doing that just made matters worse, and made people like even worser gang members and criminals, and all that. I know me seeing all that made me dislike them even more. Like, man, like it would have been better if they would have had a different mindset and gave us advice, and maybe try to help us in some type of way. But nah, they just put us in a cage, locked us in there like sardines in a can, and basically we just had to survive on our own in there, in the jungles, especially like in East Max. That shit was like the jungles in there, with 3 bunks and like 150 people in there, with just a TV, and that's it, really, just one TV, and all gang members, criminals, and then how do they think we're gonna change or better ourselves with no resources, So yeah, I kind of tripped out on all that, on like the lack of resources we had in there, and so the only resources we had was just to survive, and you had to prove yourself worthy of the cause, and that was how you're gonna not be victimized, and that's how I kind of like made it through the county, by participating, trying to fit in, seek acceptance, prove myself, and not be the one to stand out, be the outcast, and be the one that I'm gonna be the one picked on or beat up, So
Let me ask you, Jojo. So do you remember the first time you went into county? After all the processing and whatnot, when you were finally able to, lay down and and rest on a mat. Did you end up in a dorm? Did you end up in a 6-man cell, 3-man cell? Do you remember what those conditions were like?
Oh yeah.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Yeah, I remember I first went to Supermax. I was in Supermax, and then it was like pods, but it was like pods of like, I think it was like 40 people with three bunks, a bunk bed with three bunk beds on it, But yeah, we're all like packed in there, you know, a small little day room, like 2 showers, like 4 toilets. Yeah, with in the like 4 phones, collect call phones.
And when you're talking about the bunks, so normally these bunks they're designed to to hold two people, but it got so bad in county jail that they ended up building a third bunk in between those two
The
bunks.
third one, yeah.
So it's like it's like pretty much is the only way to describe it. It's like a coffin. It's pretty much the size of a coffin being in those in one of those bunks, especially if you were in the middle bunk, the middle bunk or the bottom bunk. Those are the worst bunks to have. Preferably, you would want to have the ones on the top, because especially if you're claustrophobic, because it was gonna be definitely a bad time if you were on the middle one or the bottom one. And I definitely remember those, and I can tell you, I definitely don't miss that. And he's right. Everybody was crammed in there. Um, not much area, to do a lot, because you had to stay out of certain areas because certain areas belong to certain groups. Um, and then normally you don't want to walk through somebody's bunk bed if you don't live there, because they're gonna be wondering why you're walking through that certain area. So just to avoid issues, you definitely want to stick to the boulevards, as I think if that's what they used to call them, the boulevards, where everybody it would be a common area where everybody would walk through. And right now, when Jojo calls back, I'll go ahead and ask him this question here.
Esta
This
es
call is
Global
now being
Telling.
recorded.
Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
Jojo.
un preso recluido de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Link.
Hello,
Yeah,
Jojo.
man. Yeah, I'm back on. Yeah.
So
Hey, but the conditions were bad. The conditions, it was horrible.
and so we just got a LA analyst, and she's asking a question. She says, "How has being incarcerated changed you? Uh, did it make him? Did it make you aggressive at some point? More aggressive?"
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that's a good. I like that question. Thank you for asking me that question. In the beginning, like through my rehab, well, in the beginning, there was really no rehabilitation. Like I got arrested in 2009, and I was in the county from 2009 to 2010, and then I went to prison. But I didn't end up changing my life around till 2017 because that's when, like, around 2016, 17, that's when they started having like rehabilitation programs and all kinds of stuff to help us better ourselves. So before that, there was nothing. So all I relied on was the gang and criminal lifestyle. So I actually, at one point, I had became worse than I was. Like when I first came in, I had went like to the extreme with it. Like my criminal gang thinking was like real like sophisticated to where it was like I was just always thinking about trying to like upgrade my status, my reputation at all costs. Like I was willing to hurt anybody or use anybody to my advantage, and that was my thinking, and I learned it, throughout like being in the county and prison and associating with like people, like-minded people, and we all like.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
We basically just made each other worse, because there was really no hope. There was no hope at the time, and there was no programs, no education, like no college, nothing at the time until later, like around 2016, 2017, and that's when I finally like came to my realization and got out of that denial and started making changes over my life and utilizing the resources that they started giving to us. And then I actually, like, man, like right now where I'm at in my life, like I'm at the best I ever been, and I think I ever will be, because I actually like took advantage of all the help that CDCR rehabilitation provided, and especially like the college education. I have 3 college degrees right now. I have 2 vocations. I attended anger management, domestic violence, confronting criminal thinking, CGA, GOGI, Criminon, AA, NA, alternative to violence program. Man, I prep. I done all those programs. Mindful kindness. But yeah, so that's kind of like uh, what happened in the beginning, and then like how I changed from that. But yeah, I'll touch up more on my change, later on in the on our journey. Like, we'll touch up more, and I'll give you guys some more details on it. Like, I think you guys are gonna be interested on like how I changed and like what kind of caused me to change, what I went through. Yeah, it's kind of, I think it's called like a rock bottom or like an aha moment in my life that triggered me to like think about my life and my future and everybody else in it, and I kind of started empathizing and, realizing that the life I was living in the past wasn't good at all. It was like self-destructive, and I was hurting a lot of people along the way that I didn't realize I was, indirectly. But yeah, I'll touch more on that like later on in the story. But I appreciate the LA analyst for asking that. And any more questions, feel free to ask, and I'm willing to answer.
And let me ask you, so
Yeah,
from the time that you were arrested. Oh, we got a phone
yeah.
call. Hold on.
Okay, you got a phone call.
Hello, hello.
Yes,
Hello,
sir.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we could definitely hear you.
Is it clear?
Yeah,
Is it nice and clear?
Yeah,
yeah,
who,
it's clear.
who's
This is the
That's right.
analyst. Hi, Joe. Welcome, and hi, James. Thanks for taking my
Yeah,
call.
thank you. Yeah, welcome.
I heard you answer my question. I just had to call in and just say that I applaud you for, for the change you've done. I was in the last call that when you talked about, your journey, your childhood, and how everything has transpired into where you're at now, and you've been through a lot. And I just gotta say that it's nice to hear how people do change. You got 3 degrees, and you're doing good. You've took classes to make things better. I'm sure that once you go into county, it sounds like you're obligated and forced to become a more aggressive person to survive. And
Exactly.
you did
Yeah.
what you had to do, and now you're a whole different person. So that's very nice to hear.
Man, thank you. Like, man, real, I appreciate you, acknowledging, my change and my story, what I've been through. Cause like, that's why I wanted to share it, to like show you guys, like, what I went through, but not just me. Like a lot of us, we went through all that, and then we eventually got the help we needed by, like people, you guys out there, fighting for us, advocating, and making sure like, CDCR changed their approach, and started, rehabilitating us, because we're eventually gonna re-enter back into society. So why not make us better, not worse, Like, we're gonna be your guys' neighbors and co-workers and all that, So why not help us become, the best we could be. So yeah, and I started realizing that and took advantage of it. And there's so many of us in here that the same way, we're ready, to get back out there and really show what we learned, and apply it, and and make amends to everybody that we hurt, and like repair, uh, what we damaged out there. But I appreciate you, LA Analyst, for those, for uh, asking me that question, and being on this podcast and tuning in. Thank you. Hello.
proud of yourself because you're doing something good.
Sorry, I had it on mute. LA analyst, he wasn't able to hear you.
Oh, okay. Can you hear me now?
What's your name again? What's your name again?
LA analyst.
Okay.
My what?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but I was just saying that it's nice to hear how you've changed, how it's who you've become now. So be proud of yourself, and I'm glad that you're changing for the best because you have been through a lot. So keep doing that.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and I'm gonna share more too. Wise, you're gonna like what I got in store. Wise.
Can't wait to hear more. Yeah. All right, you guys have a nice night. I'll stay tuned listening.
Okay.
Bye.
Hey, thank you for calling in. Have a good night.
Yeah, that's cool, man. I like that. I like that they could call in and so they what they like and what intrigue them, what interests them, and that means a lot, especially like for us in here, well, because it shows that people out there care and they commend us for like turning a tragedy to a triumph, or because we came from an unfortunate situation, but we surmounted it, became better from it, and it took a little while, but we eventually got there and surpassed our past, and yeah.
And Eliasman just asked right now. He's asking, is JoJo eligible for resentencing with the new laws passing, such as gun terms and enhancements?
Yeah, that's a good question too. Right now, I'm in the process of being resentenced because I qualify for SB Senate Bill 483. So that's, I guess, it's for if you had a 1-year prison prior, that prison prior is considered not valid anymore. So they have to resentence people. But there's a clause in there, like amendment for it's a resentencing under 1170.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Full resentence, like basically now the judge has to review my whole case, and he has to all the laws, previous laws that I couldn't qualify for because my case was closed or final. Now he has to apply those laws to me now because my case is open. So I have a great chance that they could dismiss the remainder of my time. And yeah, and then I have my parole board hearing because I'm a youth offender, because I was arrested at the age of 18. So under the Senate Bill 260 and 261, if you're a juvenile and under 25 years old, because your prefrontal cortex wasn't fully developed at the time, you're eligible to a parole board hearing after 15 years or like before 15 years. So I've been down 14 and a half years. So I'm eligible for my hearing on Valentine's Day, February 14th. So, I have 2 opportunities coming up, and, I'll be praying that, my day comes and, I'll be out there soon with my family. One of my little brothers just, he just got his case overturned for people versus Heard. So, I want to shout out to Heard and his family for, fighting and man, doing everything they did, to making his case heard and setting precedent for future cases, and to address all that cruel and unusual punishment and all the they're taking advantage of sentencing, and this is like a real milestone, a big milestone for us, for all, especially for like juveniles that they're trying to get them like way out sentencing, that's cruel and unusual punishment right there. They shouldn't be doing that, I understand that, yeah, they committed a crime, but give them a chance to redeem themselves and show them that like change is possible, But yeah.
And the law that your brother got resentenced, you said that was the people versus Heard, or what was it exactly?
Yeah, People versus Herd. It's a case that I guess this guy they had gave him believe they gave him like over 50 years, and he was under I think he was under 18 years old. So they consider that cruel and unusual punishment because it's like equivalent to LWOP, like. So yeah, so he kind of beat his case, and they overturned it, and because of that, that helped out a lot of juvenile offenders that got an extreme sentence.
All right, I really appreciate you sharing that with us. What I'm doing right now as you're speaking, I'm adding links to I added links to that SB that law that you had just mentioned. That you're
people versus Herd.
Yeah, so people versus Herd, and then the other one, the gun enhancement and the prison priors. I'm adding that to the description of the video, so just in case somebody catches the video and if possibly they have a loved one, they could go and look this up, and maybe it'll help them navigate the system and get some action on coming home earlier than later.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. We bring that awareness to their family members, cousins, whoever is.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
Yeah, there's a lot of help out there. We just gotta find it and pursue it, and be on top of it, and it's gonna come for us. It's gonna come for them.
And let me ask you, so when you for the SB, for Senate Bill 483, did you file something on your behalf, or did you reach out to the public defender's office, or exactly how was it that you were able to get back into the court?
Okay, well, 483, I guess that one was kind of a little different. That one, I guess, because that one was considered like it was illegal sentencing. So the law stated that they had till December 31st to appoint an attorney to everyone that was given.
All right, so the call was just cut off. He should be calling us back shortly, and then he'll go ahead and share his experience on SB Senate Bill 483. I'm definitely interested in hearing about that, because my friend that's currently in Centinela, the one that's made all these connections for me with these gentlemen, he currently he should qualify for that because he was sentenced. He had 2 prison priors because he had been to YA and he had been to prison previously to that, so he got a 2 years tacked on to his sentence. So I'm definitely want to hear what he has to say about that, and when they reached out to him to let him know that he qualified for that. So I was just reading Eliasman's question right now. As soon as he calls back, then I'll go ahead and double check with him, and let me see what you. So we go to the board within a year or so. Okay, yeah. If you're asking about JoJo, yeah, he should be. I think he's gonna be going to the board relatively quickly. I think sooner than later. So definitely, want to keep in touch with him and see what the outcome of the parole board hearing is. So as of now, everything looks like it's good right now as far as with the calls right now. We're not having the same issues as we were earlier on with Jesse and David, and hopefully it stays like that. So I actually had it had slipped my mind that I had a third call set up for today, and JoJo sent me a message and asked me we're still on for 7, and I was in the process of heading out because I had to go. Let me see here.
This call is now being recorded. Telling, usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
JoJo.
un preso recluido en de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Tel Link.
Hello, Jojo.
Yeah, James.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah, I think the call is dropped. The signal's messing up again.
Yeah, nah, you're good. Our time was up. Our time was actually up already. She was counting down. We're on the last 30 seconds.
That shit flew by.
I'm telling you, yeah.
It'll be going by fast. Yeah, but back to what we were talking about.
So the SB.
The Senate bill.
Yeah, SB. So did a lawyer just reach out to you like out of the blue and ask you, or let you know that you qualify for that and they filed the paperwork? And if so, when did they reach out to you?
Yeah, surprisingly, yeah, they did. This Senate bill, they reached out. Out of nowhere, I got a letter in legal mail, and they had appointed me an attorney, and the attorney has stated that I qualified and for 1 year to be taken off my sentence plus a whole sentence review. So yeah, it's
All right, Jojo. So we can't hear you. If you could hear me, your mic went out. It looks like we're experiencing the same issues that I was experiencing with the other calls. Okay, we can hear you now. Yeah, so you're back on.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, I got a letter in August, and ever since I've been going to court, but it's been getting postponed. The judge was supposed to re-sentence me by the 31st of December, but they come up with excuses, and they're trying to push it back because they're trying to use that excuse where they got a lot of people and they're backed up and this and that, so they're making it more complicated than what it is.
And so back to your original case. So once okay, so you hit the county and you're fighting your case. How long did it take from the moment you stepped into county jail for you to go to trial and find out what the outcome of your case was? Hello, Jojo, can you hear me?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Yeah, that shit went out again.
Okay. So I was asking. So from the time you stepped foot in county jail, to the time you were sentenced, how long did it take you, for you to go to trial, and get sentenced?
Okay. Yeah, 'cause man, I was impulsive, right? I was impatient, and I was stressed out the game, right? So I did a speedy trial. I should have waited, but I did a speedy trial, and I went to the trial within like 9-10 months. So I was there in the county for like about like a year.
And during this time, what was the atmosphere in the county jail? I know at certain parts, like in the early 2000s.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
I know a lot of the groups were segregated in the early 2000s. Was that the same when you were there, or was everybody just pretty much it was just integrated and
Oh yeah, nah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, was it what was the atmosphere in the county jail at that time?
Yeah, at this time, well, in 2009, yeah, it was integrated. Like, it was we had the Mexicans, the blacks, the whites, and others who were all together in the same dorms. We're all mixed up, and yeah, but it was very little hostile. It got hectic.
Hello, Jojo. Your audio went out. It went out again. Yeah, Iceman, I don't think it was his tablet. I think it's the GTL. I think it's safe to confirm that it's the GTL system that's currently acting up. Yeah, so it went dark again.
Yeah, okay, so the climate, it was, yeah, it was basically, well, it was, we were integrated, but it was racially divided, though, always, no? We always, the Mexicans, against, everybody else, and vice versa, everybody beefing it with each other.
And did you have any contact with like any of your friends or family? Were they coming to like visit you, putting money on your books, getting letters in the mail, accepting your phone calls? How was that connection with the outside world during this time?
Yeah, I had a few visitors, like my aunts. My aunts came to see me a few times, but yeah, I mostly contact people through the payphone. We had to buy the little I think it was the GTL cards. Yeah, the little cards they sell little phone cards. And we use that $10 cards and get a few phone calls in. But yeah, that was the thing right there. And letters too. I get letters here and there. I'll write to people. But yeah, other than that, like contact visits, nah, there was no contact, just through the glass. No glass visits. It was like 30 minutes.
And overall, your experience in county jail, how would you rate it? How do you think you did? Compared to or based on the things that were going on around you.
And I think I created. I think. Well, I basically made it. Like I survived it. I think it was just about survival, really. Like you just gotta do what you gotta do to make it through that little stage, and till you make it to prison. So you basically like it's a pretty tough little situation you gotta go through, but you gotta be strong minded and basically be alert and aware of your surroundings and all of the above.
And when you were going to court, when you finally reached your trial date, how long did your trial take? And what were some of the things that were happening in your trial? Did you understand any of the legal jargon or the words that they were using in the courtroom? Were they bringing witnesses in? What kind of testimony were you hearing inside the courtroom? Because a lot of the times, the prosecutors or the police officers, they paint this picture. They paint this picture and they don't know you. They're just going uh, off of what they think is correct. So what kind of things were transpiring inside the courtroom while you were there?
Well, yeah, at the time, because I was young and that was my first time actually experienced, going to trial and having to be in that situation. I didn't really know the law terminology. I didn't know the lingo. I didn't really comprehend a lot of things. I was just really depending on my lawyer, hoping that he would do his best and he would make the best choices for me. And at the time, that's all I really could rely on because I didn't know much. And then they basically the evidence they had though was basically eyewitness, the victims pointing me out, saying that I robbed them, and but they didn't have no gun, they didn't have no merchandise. They just had people, the victims stating that I robbed them, and the district attorney used, that, and they convicted me off of that. But yeah,
And when you got convicted, did this all of this happen like in one day, or how many days did it take for them to figure out?
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
How long did it take for them to determine if you were guilty or not? And were you offered
I think it was,
any plea deals?
yeah, I was offered my first plea was like 29 years with 2 strikes, and then they went to uh 20. It was, I think, 26 with 2 strikes, and then I believe that last, well, before I got kind of forced to trial, right? Because that they offered me 20 with 2 strikes, and I was gonna take it. I told my lawyer, yeah, well, let's take it, but tell them, can we come back? Can, like, I think about it and come back. So we told them that. And the next day we came back, they were like, nope, no deal on the table. We're going to trial. So I kind of got pushed into going to trial because they seen that I was gonna take the deal and they took it off the table. And yeah, so I kind of just had to go through that. I kind of really didn't want to, but then, I they just ended up going in that direction. So I went to trial, and I think they found me. I think I was found guilty. I think they reached a verdict. Um, I think altogether the whole trial thing even took like 2 weeks. I think it was like 2 weeks. But when they had decided, and I think it took like
So your mic just went dead. We can't hear you. So hopefully it comes back. It comes back soon. But yeah, at this point we can't hear what you're saying right now.
no,
Okay,
hello,
you're back. You're back.
hello.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So basically, the trial, it lasted. I think it was like 2.5 weeks, and then when they deliberated, and they reached their decision, it was within that same day. But I think it took, like, I believe, like 30 minutes or something like that. They reached their verdict, and they found me guilty for 7 second degree robberies and 7 consecutive gun enhancements.
And once they determine whether you were guilty or not, did they sentence you right then and there, or did you have to come back for sentencing?
I had to come back. I had to come back for sentencing. I think the judge had to, like, calculate how he was gonna sentence me to the 40 years, like which way. And I basically, when I got my abstracted judgment, they basically gave me 10 years for the actual crime, and they gave me 30. They gave me 30 years for gun enhancements. 30 years.
And were you expecting a total of 40 years, or in your mind, what kind of numbers did you think you were going to be getting?
No, they gave me the max. They gave me the max time. I was hoping that they were gonna give me less, but the DA said, oh, the prosecutor, they recommended me to get the max, and they gave me the actual, like, what they could give me, the max, 40 years.
But were you expecting 40 years? Was that the number that was in your mind, or what number were you expecting when you went to court?
Mm, Yeah, kinda, 'cause I heard them say the max. I was wishing that they didn't, but I kind of was hoping, like, either 20, 25, or something besides the max. But they gave me the max.
And when you did get sentenced, do you remember what was going through your mind? Did you believe that you were sentenced to 40 years? Because at this age, when you got sentenced, you were like 18 years old, right? You had just turned 18.
Yeah, I was 18. Yeah, I was 18. Yeah.
And
Well, I couldn't.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
was anybody hurt? Was anybody physically hurt during these robberies? I mean, I'm not trying to minimize the robberies, because I mean, obviously, getting robbed, I'm not sure if it was with a gun or with some type
Yeah,
of weapon. They're traumatic events. So these events definitely change the people that went through them. Was anybody physically hurt during these robberies? All right, and it just I know the phone just went dead.
So
It just went dead again. But if you want to go ahead and give us a call back, because I know it's about to cut off like in about 10 seconds or so. All right, so let me see. All right, so the call just cut off. He should be calling us back shortly. This is probably gonna be our last call right now, coming up after this one for the night. I'm gonna go ahead and call it a wrap. And there's a few other things that I gotta work on my computer. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap it up after this call, and then I'll definitely be back tomorrow. I think our first call is gonna be at, I want to say with Joe. And I think he said he was gonna call at 11. I want to say. Sometimes I forget these things. I should definitely be taking notes down, so I don't forget. But then I forget to take the notes, so that doesn't help. Maybe I should start tying a red string around my finger. I don't think that'll help. And HG, how old is he, bro? So right now, I think he's 33. So he's been down since 2000 and I want to say 2010. So he's been down for what, 13 years now. So yeah, so he was sentenced to 40 years. So he's not even halfway through his 40-year sentence. But he did mention earlier on that he does have a parole board hearing coming up soon, and if that doesn't pan out, he's also going back to court to be getting resentenced. So one way or another, he should have some a way to eventually come home sooner than those 40 years. But I'm guessing if they take off his gun enhancements, then he would be coming home that day, because his original sentence carried 10 years, so he's already well past those 10 years. So all right, and we're just waiting for the call back. Like I said, I know the tablets, they've been having issues. If you're just joining, wondering what's going on, these GTL tablets, they've been ever since they did an update, which in my opinion was not an update. It was more of a downgrade, because this is something I would expect from a company, a provider that's not established, and they definitely they've been in the phone business for quite some time. He got action, and Niceman writes, he got action at the board. Did he have gang enhancements? I don't. He didn't mention any gang enhancements. He just mentioned. But I'll confirm with him right now when he calls back. If they did get him with any gang enhancements. I think what. I know a few people that have been sentenced in LA County in the last 20 years, and I don't think I've ever recall anybody telling me that they were hit with any gun enhancements, unless it was like some real gang activity. All right, here he is.
This call is now being recorded.
Global Telling. Usted tiene una llamada prepagada de
TREJO.
un preso recluido de la prisión estatal de Centinela, California. Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada. You have a prepaid call. You will not be charged for this call. Para aceptar esta llamada, diga o oprima ahora el 5. Gracias por utilizar Global Telling.
Yeah,
Hello?
it's having technical difficulties. Yeah.
Yeah. We could hear you now.
Yeah.
We could hear you.
All right. Want me to touch up on the question you asked about how I felt when I heard the 40-year sentence?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, as soon as once they read the verdict, right, and they were telling me, oh, count one, guilty. Like my heart started dropping. Like every count, it just was count two, guilty, count three, guilty, count four, guilty, count five, guilty, count six, guilty, count seven, and then oh, use of a firearm enhancement, guilty. So man, at that time, like I honestly, like I just felt like my heart just turned cold, and I just felt like hopeless, sad, and like I thought I was just like I was never gonna get out. Like I thought like I was gonna die in prison because at that age you're like 40 years. 40 years is basically like longer than you live, and like I don't even know if I could live that long in prison. And then I thought about my mom, I thought about my family. I'm like, man, like I'm never gonna see them again, and my heart was just broken. Like I was crushed. I couldn't. I was in disbelief. I couldn't really like wrap my head around like all that time. And I was just like shocked and traumatized. I think I was traumatized too for a while from hearing that. But at the same time, now looking back, like as I'm older, and like I accept responsibility for what I've done to them, and like I'm not like I know that was what they had to do at the time, and I put them people through a traumatic situation, like I caused them mental stress, mental pain, suffering, fear, they're traumatized, so I really understand and put myself in their shoes, and know that I hurt them people, and I apologize for putting all of them through that, and I know now that like I'll never like put anybody through the situation that I put them through, because it's never worth it. When you're young, you really you know it's wrong, but at the same time you don't really know like the consequences behind your actions until later, until you're facing the judge and he tells you, oh, you're looking at 40, 50, 60 life LWOP, and you're like, oh shit, damn, like bro, this is serious. But at the time, you don't really think it through. Like nobody really tells you, oh, if you do a robbery, you're gonna get 10 years or 15 years. Nah, you find out later, and then now I have consequential thinking. Now I know, like, okay, if I do this is gonna happen. I'm gonna get this much time, this. So it's never real.
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Yeah, I know better now. I know right from wrong, and then now that's why I continue to do right and not wrong. Oh yeah.
And let me ask you, if somebody would have reached out to you, when you were out, committing these crimes, and they would have told you, hey, you need to stop because you're gonna end up in prison for the next 40 years. Could there have been of anything somebody could have told you to stop you, from committing these crimes at that time, or was it just something that was gonna play out, and you were gonna figure it out on your own, and then determine that type of lifestyle wasn't for you?
I think somebody would have reached out like that and showed that they cared and kind of like helped me see like another perspective. I think I would have made a wiser choice. I wouldn't have been doing everything I was doing, but because I didn't, and I had more of the negative, and I think that's why I continue to make those choices on the negative side, and just that, okay, this is more beneficial when it's really not. There's way worse consequence and bigger risk at stake, from doing that. But yeah, I think I probably would have made different choices, different decisions if I would have had someone actually like really explaining to me like, hey, you do this and this is what's gonna happen. Like, yeah, but I really didn't have a lot of that, and I know a lot of people in my situation really, didn't have that, and that's why we really didn't develop consequential thinking or empathy or all those abilities to kind of like foresee like in the in the future. We're just impulsive and just start with immediate gratification, and that's it.
And and let me ask you, so you're out, you were out, robbing people, and I have two questions. So, um, w- what were you using the money that you were robbing these people for, and what kind of money, what kind of money could you possibly get from somebody on the street? Was it hundreds of dollars, a few dollars, like, or were you taking their cell phones? What were you obtaining when you were committing these robberies?
Yeah, it was just basically it was really nothing. Like it was just probably a couple hundred here and there, whatever the person had, like cell phone, laptop, jewelry. But yeah, it was irrational. It was like it was never worth it. But at the time, I thought, okay, it was. But yeah.
And with the money you were obtaining, was it like to rent hotel rooms, or did you have an addiction that you were
Oh yeah.
feeding with this money? Were you helping your mom, or your mom and your family, to keep a roof over their head? What was exactly happening to the money that you were obtaining from these robberies?
Oh yeah, well yeah, in the beginning, like how I told you, like when I was young, I started stealing, right? I started stealing for like my basic needs. Like I wanted like say more food or clothes or game systems. And as I got older, it progressed. I obsessed over that, getting those items to make me feel better. And as I got older in my teens, I started wanting more. I got more greedy. I started stealing like more expensive stuff, more expensive clothes, jewelry, phones. And then as I got older, I got addicted to that lifestyle of maintaining my image, my status. I was addicted to drugs. I wanted to I wanted the money. I wanted to have money in my pocket to impress people, to have to buy drugs, so I could have drugs and sell drugs, and also to use drugs, and also to get others around me high or drunk, to be accepted. I wanted to be accepted by others. So by me having money, I was able to gain that acceptance, gain those materialistic things to increase my self-esteem, my status, my value. So yeah, that money is basically to maintain that addictive lifestyle that I acquired, throughout my life. It was to sustain that.
Okay, so you get sentenced, and you get back thrown back into the court tanks. You end up getting transferred to wherever you're being housed at. I'm assuming you're up in Wayside. How long did it take for you
Oh
to
yeah.
get transferred over to prison when you eventually ended up hitting reception?
It took me when I hit after I got sentenced, it took me like I think 2 to 3 weeks to go to reception, and then I went to Delano North Kern. I was right there on B yard for about like 3 months. It took about 3 months before they put me up for Lancaster level 4 or Calipatria level 4, and I did 3 months right there, and from there, yeah, I went to Calipatria, and I spent practically almost like 6 years, 6 years at Calipatria level 4 yard.
Man, right now
So
when you
yeah, that's a whole nother story right there, Calipatria, man. That was brutal. That was at the time when I was there, that was like one of the deadliest prisons. Like I seen people get murdered right there. I seen people get shot with a Mini 14. I seen riots. I was in a riot, and it was crazy.
so right now when you said that you were gonna get endorsed either to Lancaster or to Calipatria, I was hoping you said Lancaster,
Yeah.
but yeah,
Oh
I know,
yeah.
based on your age
Yeah.
and what you went in for. Yeah, I definitely knew that the odds were definitely gonna be stacked against you, and you know, and Calipatria is definitely an infamous prison at that time during those years. You know, it's
Esta llamada y su número de teléfono será controlada y grabada.
Highly active, and I believe the name of it was Kilopatria, because a lot of
Kilopatria, sure.
A lot of stabbings and whatnot were going through, and I'm gonna go ahead and let you tell that story. But for today, I know we're a little bit short right now. We got about 4 minutes left on the call. We'll go ahead and finish out these 4 minutes, but like for tonight, that this will be concluding our last call. And then you can go ahead and just go ahead and continue with whatever you want to share with the audience. But I'm sure things are gonna get really interesting on our next call when you get to Calipatria.
Oh yeah, you know, for sure. I got a good story up ahead, audience. So you know, stay tuned, and I want to share more like of my experience, you know, through the prison process, and you know what I saw, what I endured, and you know, basically, you know, what all that led up to, and then to my change. And I'm gonna talk about my change afterwards, and you know, give you guys insight on that, and you know, and how and then who I am today. So stay tuned. I appreciate you guys tapping into James' podcast, and I appreciate you, James, for you know creating this platform for us. And thank you, you know, all the audience, everybody, my family, everybody that tuned in. My lawyer, Lisa N. Darden, too. Thank you. And thank you, LA analysts, too, for your great questions, and everybody else for their great questions. You guys are all amazing people, and thank you for supporting us. And you guys all have a good night.
All right, yeah. So, you know, I want to go and second that. You know, shout out to all our listeners. And I'm going to go ahead and read off whoever's, you know, participating in the chat today. First person in here was LA Analyst, followed by Maddie, which is one of your friends. You know, shout out to Maddie and to LA Analyst. Also, we had El Iceman. Iceman, that's a name you definitely, you know, want to, you know, keep in mind because he's in here. He's in here like clockwork. He's in here most of our streams, and huge supporter. And who else do we have? We also had Amy. Amy, you know, she came in here, you know, showing some support. And then we also had
Thank you, Amy. Thank you.
We also had a new participant in the chat that went by HG, and he wanted to know, or they wanted to know, you know, how old you were. So I think you're 33. So I said 33 as of right now, right?
Right now, right now I'm 33. Yeah, 33. Yeah.
All right, yeah. And then, you know, Iceman had asked a question. He had asked if any of those enhancements were they any gang enhancements?
No, it was all just gun enhancements. 7 consecutive gun enhancements. I think they were trying to give me the gang enhancement in the beginning, but it didn't stick, so they dropped them.
Man, that would have been crazy if they would have hit you with a gang enhancement, because those gang enhancements, I think they're worse. They're worse than the gun enhancements. I mean, gun enhancements are already bad as it is, you know, with 10 years per gun enhancement. But those gang enhancements, ooh, those are definitely brutal.
I would have got like 60 years or 80 years. Yeah, they would have gave me a gang time. I would have got that.
Man, in essence, yeah, with those gang enhancements, you're coming out in diapers.
Le queda un restante de 60 segundos.
All right, so she went ahead and, you know, rang the bell already. So I want to go ahead and, you know, thank everybody for participating. And like I say around here, life's like a candle. Once you blow it out, it's lights out. Game over. That's it. You know, it's over. So, you know, think about that when you're out here. You know, life is very fragile, and you know, we take it for granted. And by the time you want to change, you know, it might just be too late. So, you know, that's definitely, you know, what you want to think about if you're out there, you know, creating ruckus or doing things you shouldn't be, you know, doing it in society or on the street. And I want to go ahead and thank you, Jojo, for calling in, and we're definitely going to be in contact.
Yeah.
If you want, go ahead and give me a call
sure.
As soon as this call's over, and then we could go ahead and set something up for the future, maybe even tomorrow if you're available for tomorrow.
Okay, for sure. Yeah, I'll give you a call.
All right, perfect. Thank you. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut this stream. You guys go ahead and have a good night. We'll be you'll definitely be seeing me tomorrow.